If you're low and in need of money in GTA Online, be sure to check out cdkeys.com. There's a link in the description where you can find the cheapest shark cards. Hello guys, what's going on? My name is Sam, or Chaotic, and welcome back to another GTA 5 video here on my channel. Now in today's video, I'm going to be comparing the all-new Class A Scramjet that released just earlier today in GTA Online against the Vigilante, one of my personal favorites and one of the best weaponized special vehicles that we have in GTA Online. And I guess it's also most similar to the Scramjet as well, as you'll find out throughout this video. Both vehicles have some very similar features and abilities. So with that being said, let's go ahead then and find out which out of these two is the best vehicle in GTA Online. So then, like I said, from today you can now purchase the all-new Scramjet from the Warstock Cash and Carry website. It has two prices, a buy it now price and a trade price, with the buy it now price set at $4,628,400 and the trade price set at $3,480,000, which to unlock is relatively easy. You have to play and win a game of Hunting Pack Remix, which is the brand new game mode or adversary mode that was also added into GTA Online today alongside this vehicle. But then as for the Vigilante, of course this vehicle is also available to purchase from the Warstock Cash and Carry website with just one price, a buy it now price. There's no trade price available for this vehicle. The buy it now price is set at $3,750,000. So the Scramjet then is quite a bit more expensive if you purchase it at its buy it now price, almost $900,000 more expensive than the Vigilante, unless of course you unlock the Scramjet trade price, which will then make it cheaper. And I'd recommend doing this, by the way, if you are going to purchase the Scramjet, as it will save you over $1.2 million. And like I said, it's relatively easy to do as well. Okay, so next, let's take a look at the customization options and the upgrades available for these two vehicles. Now, it's worth noting both of these require a mobile operations center or an Avenger if you want to customize them. But in my opinion, it's less essential for the Scramjets, as the only customization options available for this vehicle are the standard upgrades, the engine, the armor, the brake upgrades, and stuff along those lines. Sure, you can respray the car and personalize it a little more, but there's only one cosmetic upgrade, that being livery. And sure, there are some pretty cool ones, with red pinstripes being my favorite, it being the most similar to the car this is based upon in real life, the Mach 5 from the anime TV series Speed Racer, but that's about it. There aren't really any customization options available for this, and that's why it's not really as essential to customize this as it is for the Vigilante. It is a similar situation to the Scramjet, where there are very few upgrades and customization options available for the Vigilante, but there's one crucial upgrade which you need for this vehicle if you're going to buy and own it, and that is the weapon upgrade. From standard, the Vigilante is only fitted with machine gun turrets, which are not very powerful at all. We'll talk about these some more later on in the video. So you really need to fit the missile launcher upgrade on this if you're going to buy and own the Vigilante. But then when it comes to everything else, they're all just standard upgrades, so armor, engine, brake upgrades, and so on. There are no cosmetic upgrades available for this either. Alright, so next I want to compare the boost and recharge time for these two vehicles. Of course, both have the ability to rocket boost forward, but surprisingly, there is a difference between the two vehicles. So as for the Scramjet, it has a slightly longer boost, lasting 2.07 seconds, but the recharge is also longer, at exactly 4 seconds. Now as for the Vigilante, although the boost itself only lasts 1.09 seconds, the recharge is a lot quicker, almost half of the Scramjet's at just 2.15 seconds. And if you combine the times of using a boost and waiting for it to recharge, it takes 6 seconds between each boost for the Scramjet, whereas the Vigilante is just 3. So you can use the rocket boost feature in the Vigilante twice as often than the Scramjet. Now moving on next to weapons. Now of course both of these vehicles are weaponized, and from standard, the Scramjet has two different weapon options. The first being machine guns, so it has two machine gun turrets, one either side on the front of it. These of course are fixed, so these shoot wherever the front of the car is pointing, and they aren't particularly powerful. As for the second weapon option though, again coming with this vehicle from standard, so when you first buy it, this being a missile launcher. Now this feature is extremely powerful on this vehicle, and as mentioned in my video yesterday, 10 things you need to know about this car before you buy it in GTA Online, this vehicle is being named the Hydra Destroyer by the community because the missile launching feature on this vehicle is extremely overpowered. The lock-on range and the firing distance of the missiles with this vehicle is extremely impressive. As you can see right now in the gameplay, I'm just firing missiles and they're traveling so far out of range or out of distance, I can't even see them explode. It's towards the end of the runway though at the military base, which makes this one of the furthest missile firing vehicles available in GTA Online. Now you can also select your personal weapons as well, so you can scroll in between the machine gun, the missile launcher, and your regular weapons, so your pistols, SMGs, throwables and stuff like that, which I think is pretty useful, especially in public sessions if you have players maybe chasing you around and trying to shoot you from behind. Of course, the weapons on this feature only fire forward, so having the option to scroll between your personal weapons as well, to have the option to shoot or throw things behind you, is pretty useful, and something you cannot do with the Vigilante. In fact, this vehicle, as mentioned before, from standard only comes fitted with the machine gun turrets, the same ones you get with the Scramjet, and like I said, these are not very powerful whatsoever. They're fixed and only fire forward, so with this vehicle you really need to upgrade it and purchase the missile launcher as an upgrade in the Mobile Operations Center, or the Avenger, which costs I think around $300,000 or so. Now this missile firing feature on the Vigilante is pretty impressive in comparison to most missile firing weaponized vehicles in game, with a better than average lock-on and firing range, but as you can see in comparison to the Scramjets, it's just not quite as impressive. The distance and range isn't quite as good. Now one thing I personally like to do when I'm playing GTA 5, and I'm sure you guys like doing this as well, and that's driving around with a weaponized vehicle just causing chaos. So smashing into vehicles, pushing them out the way, just firing missiles at police cars and that sort of thing, racking up a wanted level and just seeing how long you can survive. Now both of these vehicles have the same amount of missiles. They both carry 30 before you have to go and resupply or restock in your garage or in your MOC. But what you'll find with the Vigilante is that this vehicle is much better for these situations because it's not only faster, it not only has a faster recharge time as well, but it can smash into vehicles and ram them out of the way with very little effort. And you can see I can just push them out of the way, flip them over and that sort of thing, and just keep driving on. Whereas with the Scramjet, it's a smaller vehicle, it hasn't got the same speed or pushing power, so more often than not when you slam into vehicles, it will slow the vehicle right down, if not come to a complete stop. But the Scramjet has a second special ability. The rocket boost feature is not the only one it has. Its second one is a jump feature, just like the Ruiner 2000. And the jump feature or ability on this car is better than the one on the Ruiner 2000 as well, as it can jump slightly higher. And what you can also do is combine the jump with the rocket boost as well, to give yourself some pretty good air. And you can jump over pretty much anything in game, in fact, if you do this right, as you can get some real good height with this as well. In fact, combining these two, you could probably jump onto or over most buildings in game, of course with the slight exception of things like the Maze Bank, which are incredibly high. But as you can see right now in game, I got extremely high with this one jump, not quite as high as Mount Chiliad, but definitely the height of the Maze Bank, if not slightly higher. Anyway, moving on to the next comparison, this being the bulletproof and explosive resistance test. Now as for the Scramjets, there's no roof on this, so straight away you're sort of disadvantaged over the Vigilante, as more of you will be exposed. I'll sit in this vehicle now in a few moments and you'll see what I'm talking about, but both the windshield and side windows on this are not bullet resistant or bulletproof in any way, shape or form. And as you can see, your head is clearly visible from pretty much every angle, so players can easily shoot or snipe you. As for the Vigilante, well, the glass on this isn't bulletproof or bullet resistant either, but because you have more of a cab, there's a roof, there's no glass at the back, you can only be shot from certain angles, so in the terms of being shot at, you do have slightly more protection. Then as for explosive resistance on these two vehicles, well, as for the Scramjets, just one RPG or one explosive will destroy this vehicle straight away. And unfortunately, it's a similar situation with the Vigilante as well. Just one RPG or one grenade will blow this vehicle up also. So these two vehicles are very similar in that respect, with slightly more protection from the Vigilante when it comes to bullets. And then finally, as for top speeds, the Scramjet's top speed without the boost is just 113 miles an hour. With the boost, it can achieve 141 miles an hour. Whereas the Vigilante has a top speed of 124 miles an hour without a boost, and then 149 with the boost. Anyway, but there we go. So that's pretty much it then for this video. That's the Scramjet versus the Vigilante. Now personally, I feel the Vigilante is the better one out of these two. It's slightly less expensive, or at least its buy it now price is less expensive than the Scramjets. It may not have quite as many features, but it's definitely my personal favorite. It's the one which I think is more enjoyable to use. Maybe you guys disagree. So let me know right now by leaving a comment on this video, which out of these two do you think is better, the Scramjet or the Vigilante? If you guys could also drop a like on this video as well, it would of course be greatly appreciated and it helps me out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, because I upload all the latest and the greatest Grand Theft Auto 5 content. So as always guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.